Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel. Rajkumar. Here are today's headlines. Over 1,000 contract workers in Tobago lose their jobs as the THA scraps the 10-on, 10-off system. That sounds like the 10 days we had all the years in Trinidad with URP. I guess that's what they call it across there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Triggering delays and friction over permanent replacements. Permanent replacements. Okay then. With school, but how many people going to get permanent jobs this time around? The same 1,000 or a quarter or a half? What? With school reopening in under 2 weeks, frantic parents demand answers as government school supply grants remain stuck in process. Woo! Another glitch. The other day when the people payments for the same, well, not in Tobago, but here in Trinidad and Tobago, the same maintenance workers it had a problem. In the administrative department. Now is a glitch here too. Kamla? Alrighty then. St. Vincent and the Grenadines infrastructure gets a major facelift with Prime Minister Godwin Friday championing grant-funded rehabilitation projects. And diplomatic deadlock deepens in the Middle East as President Trump vows extended military action while Iran keeps the Strait of Hormuz firmly shut. What you thought was going to happen, Trump? You need to finish the job. That's what you need to do. Stop negotiating with terrorists. Details, of course, in the news up next. More than 1,000 10-on, 10-off workers employed under the Tobago House of Assembly's Division of Infrastructure have had their contracts terminated. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine confirmed the decision yesterday during a media conference at the Ho Choi Child's Administrative Complex in Calder Hall. I hope something better is really coming in Fali, because this could be the end of your party. This mistake you're making and also trying to force CPAP workers. Well, not force them. You said they can leave if they want. Like you turn gangster or something. Right? But not you, one of your ministers or representatives or something like that. Right? Right? They could leave if they want or whatever. I'm just paraphrasing it. That's not exactly what they said. But it seems as though you just go on and you just catch the Kamla bug or something like that. Fali, what's going on? And you know the ground report, I highly doubt they're going to highlight this. The plan to end the contract system was first introduced in June during a plenary sitting. Augustine explained that the THA delayed the termination until August to give employees time to prepare their children for the upcoming school year. Well, at least thank God you gave them some time. All right, Fali, I don't know if that can help you in the future, but at least that is still good. He previously indicated that many affected workers would have the opportunity to move into permanent positions to help fill long-standing vacancies within the division. Many? Why not all? It's only 1,000. So why not all? Fali? That's songing, not right, huh? However, Augustine voiced a strong disappointment over the slow progress made by the Division of Public Infrastructure in submitting its finalized vacancy list and securing union approval. Once again, why should there even be a vacancy list? You already have individuals. Why you didn't just transfer them? Like what you're doing at CPAP? Unless you're really not qualified at all. But then that is really sad. You're taking away people, bread and butter, boy. My gosh, boy. He noted that the Division of Community Development and Social Protection completed a similar exercise over a month ago, which allowed more than 158 daily rated workers to secure permanent roles. What's going to happen to these people, Fali? Really and truly. That's like here in Trinidad and Tobago. Eh? Now, Kamla, you're doing good at certain levels. You're doing quite well as well. But at the end of the day, the poor man isn't really winning at all, you know. Isn't winning at all, and it's going to take a very long time before we start to feel as though we're winning. After Petrotrin is restarted, and the middle class is empowered and enriched again, and their purchasing power is increased, then we might start to feel a little good because small businesses will start to reopen, medium-sized businesses will be able to prosper again. More people could be able to, more working class citizens could be able to get jobs. But in the meantime, people really suffering a lot. To speed up the process, Augustine established a 7-member committee to oversee the compiling of the vacancy list. Oh, that sounds like just a way for people to eat our food, boy, Fali, boy. I could be wrong, of course. with a target of filling nearly 700 open positions before the end of the fiscal year. But that 700 should have been from the individuals that you're sending home right now. Addressing financial concerns, Augustine rejected the idea that ending the contract worker system was meant as a cost-cutting measure. So what it for? What's the reason of ending it? Ali? You're taking people for fools now, you know. That's what you're doing. He pointed out that the program injected funds directly into the local economy, and ending it reduces liquidity within Tobago. I hope you know that. Regarding the hiring process for the open positions, Augustine clarified that existing unionized workers within the establishment would receive first preference for promotions, leaving entry-level vacancies open to outside workers and contractors transitioning from development programs. He added that transitioning workers will not carry over their years of prior service to ensure fairness for long-standing staff. My response looks like Fali is ready to give Tobago back to the mighty morphin Ghanaian coal pot bicycle. No ham, no macaroni pie, whole strain, tighten your belt, PNM. Fali, honestly speaking, boy, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Instead of expanding, you're taking away jobs for the PNM now to come and pretend as though they care about the people, because we all know they don't. Terrible mistake you're making here, Fali. Terrible. With less than 2 weeks remaining before the September 7th reopening of the new school term, growing pressure is being placed on the Ministry of Education to provide clear updates regarding the government school supplies and book grant. The initiative was designed to offer financial support to vulnerable families purchasing essential items, but many parents report that their online applications are still stuck at the processing stage. Kamla, even this and all your faults, boy. Back in 2010 to 2015, we never really be hearing about all these glitches taking place. All your AI controlling everything for you all too in the ministry. Despite earlier indications that funding would be released this week, no official announcement has been made to confirm that payments have started. Wait, boy. Information reaching Guardian Media suggests that unemployment applicants will receive disbursements first, followed by families with differently abled children. However, Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath has not provided a definitive start date or an official update on the program's progress. The last official update came from the then acting Education Minister Barry Padarath, who stated earlier this month that roughly $20 million was set aside for the program, with distributions expected to begin during the week of August 24th. Right? That's this week, of course. As that time frame slips by, parents have taken to social media to express their frustration, and rightfully so. They're feeling set up. Mama Guide. On recent ministry-related posts, numerous applicants commented that their status has shown as processing for weeks, leaving them worried that classes will resume before they receive aid. You know, if PNM was doing this, UNC would have been condemning them. Incompetence, and rightfully so. Quiet. All you're hearing is crickets among the UNC supporters. Bear in mind, I am not a PNM supporter at all. I voted UNC my entire life. Stakeholders have stepped forward to demand immediate action from the authorities. National Parent-Teacher Association President Walter Stewart highlighted that the lack of clear information creates severe anxiety and forces low-income families to hunt for alternative funds. Stewart noted that the delay creates an unfair imbalance, as wealthier families can easily buy supplies while struggling parents are left waiting. Exactly. Meanwhile, former Education Minister Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly mopped up by criticized the ministry for starting the process late. We're talking about PNM. PNM was late for everything for the past 9.5 years. Well, for the past 10 years, over 10 years now, but they're gone. Over a year now. Urging them to release the funds immediately and expand support programs to like school meals and transportation to ease the financial burden on families. You're no longer hearing whole strain from PNM, you know. You're no longer hearing about, making ultimate sacrifices and, you might have to give up macaroni pie and ham, Nah, they demanded everything. But the reality is she's right.
Trinidad and Tobago weather forecast for Friday, August 28, 2026. Mostly fair, bright, and breezy conditions are expected across Trinidad and Tobago during the day, with a high temperature reaching 32 degrees Celsius. The night will be fair to partly cloudy with a low of 24 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius. The day will be generally sunny with occasional hazy spells, though a few isolated light or moderate showers are possible. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service notes an extended outlook with a low 20% chance of an odd heavy shower. The high humidity will make it feel like up to 35 degrees Celsius during peak afternoon hours. A very high UV index of 8 to 10 is expected, so ensure you apply sun protection if you plan to be outdoors between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Moderate easterly winds will keep things breezy, pushing up to 8 miles per hour. Open waters will remain moderate with wave heights around 1.5 meters.
Regional news now. Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday, who serves as MP for the constituency, said he remains closely invested in the Bequia Fisheries Project, which he noted was initiated several years ago. Prime Minister Friday also emphasized the importance of the rehabilitation being supported through grant funding. Several fisheries markets across St. Vincent and the Grenadines are currently undergoing rehabilitation as part of a wider effort to strengthen and develop the fisheries sector. I hope you end up getting the ruling is in your favor and you remain the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the rest of your term in office, for the rest of time, for the party itself, for the government term in office.
It is also being built as a resilience project, because you've heard from the construction company, Hutchinson, and from the consulting firm EnviroPlus. This is built not just for something to look good and to show and to function for a few years. We have very limited resources, so when we build now, we have to make sure we build to last. This is progress. When I was a boy, I grew up not very far from here, so we could hear when the conch shell blow for fish. That's how it used to be in them days. The fish market was just up the road here, where the t-shirt market was. And so when the shell blow, my mother would be around looking for a plastic bag to come out to buy fish. Make sure she get here before all done. That's how it used to be in the old days. Now we're having a facility that will have cold storage capacity that has better handling and really treats the fisher folk who produce this product as valuable contributors to our economy.
International news now. Diplomatic efforts to reduce tensions hit a major roadblock as Qatar's Prime Minister arrived in Tehran, clashing with a firm stance from Washington. But Qatar is Trump's friend? No, not so. President Donald Trump emphasized that the U.S. will continue its military operations for as long as it takes, leaving no room for an immediate end to the conflict. Meanwhile, the situation in the Strait of Hormuz remains critical. Iranian authorities insist the strategic waterway will stay shut until their terms are met, even as Washington ramps up financial pressure by placing harsh new sanctions on the country. I've said it already. Sanctions don't work with terrorists. All they serve to do is make the citizens of the country, the victims of the country, suffer more. That's all you're doing at this point in time, Trump. Finish the job. Inside Iran, everyday citizens are feeling the heaviest burden of the standoff, just as I said. Rapidly rising inflation, a tumbling currency, and severe fuel shortages marked by endless gas lines are driving up public frustration. These worsening economic conditions have raised widespread concerns that widespread anti-government protests could break out once again, I would advise you all don't do it, please. Because unlike countries like mine, the most we might do is get arrested for protesting peacefully if we don't get permission. In your country, over 40,000 people lost their lives. So you know what? Stay home. The Israeli Defense Force carried out a series of airstrikes and artillery operations against Hezbollah targets, the terrorist organization Hezbollah, in southern Lebanon, following an overnight drone attack directed at Israeli soldiers. You see? And the Lebanese military cannot control the Hezbollah terrorists. This is why Israel needs to remain in Lebanon. Do you understand that, Trump? According to military officials, Hezbollah launched 2 explosive-laden drones targeting IDF troops stationed around the Ali Taha Ridge. Israeli forces successfully intercepted and shot down one of the incoming drones, while contact was lost with the second. No casualties were reported among the IDF personnel stationed in the area during the attempt, thank God. In response to the hostile action, Israeli warplanes and artillery units conducted targeted strikes against key Hezbollah infrastructure in the Nabiteh, Marjeyoun, and Tyre districts. Reports indicate that the operations hit suspected weapons storage facilities. That's what they need to do. Command positions and underground sites used by the group. I'm telling you, these radical jihadist terrorists will never really, genuinely agree to make peace with Israel. Whether in Gaza, whether in the West Bank, which is really Judea and Samaria, or in Syria or in Lebanon, they will never agree to make peace because it's part of their ideology. They believe it's their mission to destroy little Satan Israel and big Satan America. You cannot convince them to do otherwise. You cannot convince them to give up their goal. They want to usher in their Messiah. And in their minds, that's the only way to get it done.
Jesus enters a house filled with loud music and weeping. Even in the chaos of grief, divine purpose is about to unfold. Watch.
She is not dead, but sleeping.
Jesus steps in, takes her hand, and restores her life instantly. News of this unbelievable miracle spreads across the entire land.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.